a VIP mastermind group. It's a small group. It's limited to 10 people. And twice a year, that group gets together for a 2-day event, and we're in the process of doing that now. This group is a pretty good group that we're going through. And it's interesting to see where they are, the progress they've made, the areas they're struggling, and how we can fix that. The first thing is take some time as you're going through this to practice some gratitude along the way. One of the things that strikes most people when they think about it, and they often take it for granted, is you know what this process is. You have proof, I believe, that this process has been successful. So there are steps to follow, and if you follow those steps, and if you work it hard, and you have a good plan and a good industry, the odds are that you will find some success along the way. Can't guarantee that. Don't know you, don't know how hard you work, et cetera, et cetera. But take some time to think about that. We had one person in the group that of late has been somewhat demoralized by his results. And it was interesting to talk about that, is that he said that he has made more than 2,000 calls and that he only has 2 letters of intent. Well, first of all, take some time to think about the process he's been through. He's put together a good board. He's gotten professionals on a success-oriented fee basis. He originally probably didn't think he could do either one of those things. He's talked to banks about how to finance these things. He's talked to a lot of potential acquisition targets, and he's got 2 LOIs. But he heard in some place that there was a person who made only 20 calls a day and did a lot of deals. Sometimes something like that somebody can look at and say, oh, okay, well, I made 2,000, they only made 20 a day and they did a lot of deals, so this isn't going to work for me. The other thing to look at in that situation is to say, okay, so somebody made 20 calls a day. First of all, if you believe that, maybe they did a lot of letters, maybe they did text messages, maybe they did emails. We don't know that story. So to take a look at that and to say, okay, assume that's true, that they only made 20 calls a day and they've ended up doing double-digit deals. If that's the case, the other way to look at that is, well then, yeah, I can do this too. Sometimes there is absolutely luck involved. You have to have the skills, you have to know what to say, you have to have the targets, and you have to know what your avatar looks like. But sometimes, and it certainly happened to me, you make a couple of calls, and out of those couple of calls, you end up getting a prospect. Sometimes you go through a dry period. And it's interesting to watch when someone goes through a dry period and then just has one good call, what that does to change their attitude and change how they feel about the process. As somebody in this group said, things weren't working. They got a phone call from an interested prospect, and it put a spring in his step, and he felt 10 years younger. He's a young guy too. So remember those things, and remember it's a good practice a couple times a day, in addition to your affirmations morning and night. Spend a little bit of time to write 2 or 3 things that you're grateful for, whether that's your health, whether that's the fact that you know the process and know what to do, the fact that you've had successes with building your board or professionals, or that you're talking to prospects, or you've closed a deal. Remember those things. And if you do not know what to do, go over to brucewhipple.com, click on boot camps, and that's the latest boot camp that I've put together. There's templates. The feedback I'm getting is good. I ended up putting, I do in each of these things, lessons learned along the way. So it's includes some of the previous information, but it also includes updated information based on what we've seen. So I would encourage you to do that. I would encourage you to look at the successes you've had. If you're struggling, go back and look at your why. Why is it that you're doing this? And get that clear, get that picture clear. Include pictures in your affirmations that will remind you of what you want to achieve here. But that's the process. Think about it. Do you know how to do it? Are you taking those actions? Have those actions led to success along the way? And don't lose track of the fact that you've made progress to this point. And if you continue to work the process, your results typically get better and better.